ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। समस्तजनकल्याण निरतं करुणामयम् नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। 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 That's the plan for today. So before we open it up for Q&A, I thought we'll quickly recap all the six slokas what we have studied. And I think it should be seven, up to seven, I think we studied. Anyway, we'll recap what we studied and then open it up for question answer. And then we'll try to see a couple of slokas more before meditation. We need minimum 15 minutes for meditation. Accordingly, we'll work backwards. Together, we can chant all the first seven slokas. And then as we chant, you can also try to recollect the meaning so that way the question answer session also will be useful to us. Together. Kataksh kirana chante namanmohabdaye namaha anantananda krishnaya jaganmangalamurtaye ahamasmi sadha bhami kadachinnahamapriyah brahmaivahamadasiddham सच्चिदानन्दलक्षणम् मय्येवोदेति चिद्भूम्निं जगत्कन्दर्वपत्तनम् अतोऽहं न कथं ब्रह्म सर्वज्ञं सर्वकारणम् नश्वतप्रत्यभिज्ञानात् निरंशत्वान्न चान्यतः न शाश्रयविनाशान्मे विनाशस्यादनाश्रयात् न शोषप्लोषविक्लेद छेदाचिन्नवसो मम सत्यैरप्यनिलाग्यम्बः शस्त्रैः किमुदकल्पितैः अवारूपस्य विश्वस्य भानं भासन्निधेर्विना कदाचिन्नावकल्पेत वाचाहं तेन सर्वगः न हि बाणादृते सत्वं नर्ते भानं चिदोचितः चित्सम्बन्धोऽपि न स्यात् हृदे तेनाहमद्वयम् अद्वयः. That is the seventh sloka what we saw. So in this, the three things are highlighted as a summary. First is actually if we need to know something without the well, this way, we need to know that there is something existing. We need to know it first, right? The before I say that this book is existing, I should know about it. So without knowing, we cannot actually reckon that it exists. So for us to know that the world exists, we should know first, and then only we know that it exists. Then to know, then there has to be consciousness. There should be association with consciousness. Because the inert by itself cannot be known. So that's the second aspect. So there has to be consciousness. So this way, the first line proves that we know the world, so it exists. And to know, we need the consciousness because some sentiency should be there because inert by itself cannot be known. So that way, the second aspect also is that is consciousness association should be there. Hence, consciousness is all pervading as per the previous sloka also. So that is the second aspect. Then the third aspect is the important aspect in this sloka is if consciousness need to be there to know the world, then world and consciousness should be different, two different things. That question will come. That is actually negated by saying that the world is actually nothing but superimposition on the consciousness. It is only an appearance on the consciousness. So that third aspect has been proved. We saw the various logic, the how the Nyaya Shastra goes through certain logic in terms of proving that there exists a relationship. And we went through some of it actually last time. Samyoga Sambandha, Samaya, Samavaya Sambandha, Samyoga Sambandha, Samavaya Sambandha, Tadasmi Sambandha, and so on. So there are certain logic actually which we can use to prove that there is some relationship between two things. When we subject this consciousness and the inert world through these logic, it comes out saying that actually, that kind of relationship does not exist. Or the only way it can exist is in different satta, in different reality. So that way we prove that the world is actually an appearance on consciousness or superimposed on consciousness, and hence consciousness is non-dual. Bhanam ride nahi satvam. Without knowing, the inert world cannot be reckoned to exist. Achitaha bhanam, chitaha hridena. The inert cannot be known without sentiency. Sis sambandhaha api na adhyasad hridhe. The association of this inert world with consciousness also cannot be there but for superimposition. Only way can it. And hence, consciousness is non-dual. Therefore, consciousness is non-dual. That was the conclusion. Those are the three things that was concluded at the last sloka. Ahibana Sattvam Narte Bhanam Chitochitaha Chitsambandho Vinatyasat Hriday Tena Madvaya Tena Aham Advayaha. So those are the three things. So to summarize, these are all the various things actually we saw so far in seventh sloka. First one in the second sloka, Sajit Ananda aspect, that Lakshana was established. Then in the third sloka, Sarvagnam and Sarvakaranam, and those two aspects were established. Then in the fourth and fifth, imperishability, that was established. And in the sixth, all-pervading, Sarvagaha. Then in the seventh, the non-dual, Advayaha. Those are the Lakshanas of Atma. And those Lakshanas are same as Brahma Lakshana. And hence, I am in my true self, same as Brahman. I am Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi. So that was established. So let me stop here. If there are any questions, otherwise we can go to next topic. I didn't see any questions in the writing to me. But if you have anybody any questions, then we can address it now. Otherwise, I would have, if I had gotten some questions, then I would have read that as an answer. Okay. So let's proceed. And then if there's any question, then we can see whether if the time permits at the end, we can take it up. Okay, now, so this up to these six slokas, that is sloka number 2 to sloka number 7, it was looking at from one angle, all these slokas. That is comparing the Lakshana of mind, that is my true self, with the Lakshana of Brahman. And say that, because these Lakshanas match, I am Brahman. That logic was used so far in all these six slokas. Now, from eighth sloka onward, the author actually looks at from a different angle. Because so far, yeah, I agree that, Maya Klashna, you proved all these things with all this logic and so on. But I still feel that I am this body, mind, intellect. That feeling is there always. That never goes from me. So how do I negate that? How do I negate that I am not this body, I am not this mind? Because that is still there. Even though you showed me so far, I am Brahmasmi because of all these Lakshana matching. But, I still feel this way. So how do I eliminate that? Those aspects actually are addressed in the subsequent slokas. In the eighth sloka, how to shift your attention from this body, mind, intellect feeling to your true self. That is addressed. So that you've seen several times in many ways, but we'll recap and then go through that. Very nicely, of course, the author summarizes it here with logic. We'll see that. Then in the ninth sloka, the ninth and tenth sloka, the other most difficult one comes in. We'll see that. Let's take this one first. Body, mind, senses. How do I shift my attention? Because my attention is always there as I am this body, mind, and senses. Our Guruji, in a text called Living Vedanta, he captures this in a very simple sloka. We'll start with that and build up on that. and set some stage before we enter into the eighth sloka. Nahankaro manobuddhi deho naham kadachana. Kadachana, never. I'm not this ahankara, nahankara. I'm not this ahankara. Manobuddhi deho. I'm not this body, mind, intellect. Naham, never. Kadachana, never. And that's what Iti Vedanta Vakyasya Bhavyasya Bhavya Chintaya Punapunaha. That is how Vedanta says, and you should actually meditate upon that again and again. And that's what, in a very simple way, Guruji puts it there. And then, of course, he builds up, and some of us studied this text long back, Living Vedanta. So it's typical Guruji's way of simplifying things, and so that we all can relate to it. And simple sloka. Now let's build up on that. Now, when we look at our experience, what are all the things we identify with? When we buy a new house or new car, how much we identify with it? That is there for some time. Needless to say, you all have experienced it, right? If something happens, actually, the new car, or when we buy a new car, definitely you can see somebody has parked it in a place where there's no other cars are parked. That means it's a new car. So we don't want anybody to come nearby also, leave alone, getting it scratched. So to that extent, we identify with it. So like that, whether it's house, whether it is laptop, whether it is car, like that, you can build up so many things as we identify with that. Children and all, I don't know whether I'm sure you would have noticed with children, when we give a toy and all that, they will sleep with the toy for 2, 3 nights. And that is too much of identification. And they will give a name also to that when at that age. So like that, all of us like that, right? So they are all called remote anatma. It is mine, my car, my house, my toy. What we're going to learn is, sorry, go ahead. Yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right, right, right. Agree. Kartrutva, Bhoktrutva also comes in. Oh, what Samir says, I don't know that they heard it online. What Samir says is, in between these two, the Kartrutva, Bhoktrutva also comes in. Very important. Mine. So my car, my Kartrutva, my Bhoktrutva, all this is mine comes in. My asana. Darshan is actually having a nice asana here. My asana. Anything mine is not me, right? My asana is not me. My laptop is not me. My car is not me. Or you go the other way also. This is a laptop. This is an asana. This is a house. Anything this also is not me. Anything you can say either this or mama. Mama or idam. Anything we can categorize under this mama or idam. Not me. That's why I put this picture. So when you move closer from the right side towards the left side. It becomes more and more difficult because we are used to. So when we say, okay, this is laptop and hence is not me, it's very easy to understand. This is table and hence is not me, it's very easy to understand. But when it comes to this body, we say this is body, but it's very difficult to actually realize that this is not me, right? That is with respect to this body, the gross body. But it becomes even more difficult when it comes to the mind, because the mind is also categorized under this or mind, my thought. Whatever you think, actually, it is my thought or that thought. So when it is this or that, it is not me. So mind is also not me. So like that he uses the aham. I don't know whether that very peculiar, that is atma, on the leftmost side. So what the next sloka says is, anything you categorize under this or mine is not atma, is not mine. What I am is actually my true self is atma. That is the logic actually which up. Guruji, yes, this is what Vedanta says. Idi Vedanta Vakyasya Bhavyachintya Punapunaha. That's what Vedanta says. You meditate upon it. Nahankaro, Manobuddhi, Deho Naha Kadachana. I'm not this body, mind, intellect, Ahankara, etc. This is what Vedanta says. You meditate upon it again and again. That's the easiest sloka. Start with. And then we analyze this. Then we come to Advaita Makaranda, where he gives this logic. Let's chant together. Repeat, please. न देहो नेन्द्रियं चाहम् न प्राणो न मनो न धीः ममता परिरब्धत्वात् आक्रीडत्वदितं धियः आक्रीडत्वादितं धियः. Together. न देहो नेन्द्रियं चाहम् न प्राणो न मनो न धीः ममता परिरब्धत्वात् आक्रीडत्वादितं धियः. Being a Lakshmidhara Kavi, he is a Kavi, he is a poet. So he is bringing all the poetic skills also, like our Adi Shankaracharya does it in many places, his poetic way of expressing things. So here also he uses the some poetic language. We'll see that. So the simple sloka. Na dehaha, na indriyaha, I am not this, I am this. I am not the body, not the sense organs. Jaha. Na pranaha, na manaha, na diha. Not this prana, not the mind, not the intellect. Because mamata parirabdhatvat, all these things are embraced by my thought. So we saw that when it is all my thought, it's mine, 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 mine. Whatever is mine is not me. Not only that, they are all actually the objects. These objects are for sport only, for just playing only. That's where actually, as a Kavi puts it. So these objects, so this aspect also comes, idam aspect also comes in. Mamata aspect is there and idam aspect is there. Mine also whatever is mine is not me. Whatever is this is also not me. These objects, this body, this indriya, this prana, etc., etc., are all these. This instrument is there for playing in this world. But this qualified by this object. And they're all qualified other way also as mama. What is not mama also, okay, you can categorize under this. So hence, I am not the body, mind, intellect. So that is the actually logic what he uses. Adeho na indriyam shaham na prano na mano na dihi mamata parirabdhatvad akridatvad idam diyaha. Then the question will come, okay, then I have this. What do I do with it? Okay, that question will come, right? Here he doesn't answer because he goes to the next Ahankara topic. But our uh, Guruji, he puts it nicely. I thought I had that sloka. It'll come. You use that as an instrument, like any other instrument. So this is mouse, this is laptop, this is book, this is table, this is asana, that is car, my car, like that you are using it, right? Like that you use this also for the worldly transaction. So that's the way actually you learn. Don't attach that self-food to that. I am this body. That you don't, that you be careful not to attribute the self-food to the body mind. Other than that, you can use this instrument. That's why actually Guruji as another sloka immediately after the previous sloka. So that's the way to use it. So this is clear. Now, the next important question, what in sloka number 9, next sloka, is about the ahankara, right? Ego. And because, doership and all that comes into this. Now, this ahankara is what? In Vedantic term, the ego is this name, what I've given this complex, Shiva, or Darshan, or Sami, or Rani. Put your name there. That is ahankara, that individuality, right? Now, somebody may ask, that the Purvapakshi is asking, okay, finally I understand that this body, mind, intellect and all that is comes under this or mind, and hence I am not that. But I cannot say myself, this Shiva, or this Shiva, or my Shiva, or my Rani, or you cannot say yourself that this Rani or my Rani, etc. So you cannot negate that individuality. That is ahankara. So this logic, what you are saying in sloka number 8, does not apply to ahankara. And hence, ahankara is self. Why don't you take it that way? That's the way opponent asks. I hope you get the question correctly. Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. So because questions, when this context is clear, then. Well, what the comment here for Darshan is, whenever the Purvapaksh, the opponent, whatever the opponent says, we always agree with the opponent because that is what we are all, tuned to. It's anything we see our Shastra that way, commentary, especially Adi Sakracharya ji. Imagine the amount of thought process gone through in all the commentaries and all that. He has actually listed all these possible questions from the opponent and said that, Purvapaksha is saying this. Okay, let me answer. There is no Purvapaksha, but he himself is writing that. So like that, he has understood that actually we all will agree with the Purvapaksha. That's why, it's all very interesting. So, what the sloka number 8, the logic what we used is this table or my table, this asana or my asana, this laptop or my laptop. Like that, when we use, then this body or my body, this thought or my thought. That logic we extended from the remote anatma to the proximate anatma and negated all. That logic works. Purvapaksha says, okay, I agree up to that. But that logic will not apply when it comes to ahankara. And hence, I declare, Purvapaksha says, opponent says, I declare that ahankara is self. Why can't I take it that way? Because you cannot use this logic. You cannot say mamata ahankara. You cannot say this ahankara. Or ahankara is put your name there. Right? I cannot say, for example, darshan cannot say this darshan or my darshan or my Samir or my Rani, like that, or my Ram, my Ram Ram. Two Rams are here. Uh, so like that. Three, oh, Sham. Oh, three Rams are there. Yeah. Yeah. In fact, four Rams are there. Sham also Ram. Prabha is also there. Anyway. So you get the logic, darshan now, the Purvapaksha's question. That is, this particular logic, what you use to negate the body, that you are not the body, mind, intellect, that logic cannot be applied to ahankara. And hence, ahankara has to be self. That is his opponent's declaration. So let's see what uh, Kavi says. Lakshmidhara Kavi. After Sakshi Sarvan Vita Preyan Aham Naham Kadachana Parinama Paricheda Parita Pairupaplavad. Together. Sakshi Sarvanvita Preyan Aham Naham Kadachanam Parinama Paricheda Parida Pairupaplavad. So, here beautifully, the logic he builds up in these two lines. And first line he says, um, I am Sakshi, I am the witness, and I am not the Agankara. And the second line gives the reason for that. Beautiful sloka. And this is actually what memorizing, and Acharya ji said, meditate upon this. This is part of the one of the Vedantic meditations also he conducted using this sloka. Sakshi Sarvan Dvita Preyan Aham. So I color coded it so that we can see the breakup also. Sakshi Sarva Anvitaha Preyan Aham. Aham is that Sakshi, that consciousness which is actually here enlivening this body, enlivening this Ahankara also. That Sakshi is Sarva Anvitaha, prayer. These three qualities actually of that Aham he gives. What are they? I am the witness, the all-pervading Sarva Anvitaha, and I am the dearest. That Aham, then you go to the second part of the second quarter, not the ego that comes up first. This is by accident. Actually, I did not program it this way. Always the ego comes up, right? Something in earlier also, somewhere we saw in one of the presentations, that particular thing came up first, without actually me animating it. Na aham kadachana, not the ego. See, there are, in the first line, there are two ahams here. Sakshi sarva anvitaha prayan aham. Up to that aham is actually Atma, the consciousness, the self. The blue one, the lighter blue, na aham kadachana. That second aham is ahankara. Not, I am not that ahankara. Never. Na aham kadachana. Why? The reason is given, the logic is given in the second line. Because parinama paricheda paritapa is that ahankara. That ahankara, which is the second aham, has got these defects. Uplavat, upaplavat. It is actually associated with having those uh, disastrous association it has got, which that ahankara, what is that it has got? It has got all these defects. It has got parinama, modifications. It has got paricheda, limitations. It has got afflictions. It has got sorrow. We'll explain about all these things. Because of these ahankara associated with these things, and Sakshi is not associated with all this. Aham, that first aham, consciousness, the self, is not associated with any of this. So that way negates. Ahankara, ahankara is what, again, our name, right? We can imagine what kind of things, all things is identified with it, right? This ahankara is the one which goes through all the sorrows, ups and downs, all the afflictions. The afflictions could be from any one of those three sources. Adibhautika, Adidaivika, Adhyatmika. Either from the external situations, the natural situations, or from internal, our own mind disturbance also. Those are the three sources of sorrow. We all know that, right? Adhyatmika, Adibhautika, and Adidaivika. Those are the three sources from which the sorrow can come. This ahankara, me, Siva, or put your name, we individuals go through all those things. But the Sakshi, the Chaitanyam, which is illumining this ahankara, is not affected by any of this. Now, let me bring one more concept which some of us studied. How does this Akankara actually come into play? There's a sloka in Atmabodha, there's a sloka in Saddarshanam. What the way Ahankara comes up is, see, this body mind intellect complex by itself is inert, right? We all know that it's inert. And this is also inert. This is also inert. Laptop also inert, table also inert, and so on. Sat is there everywhere. Existence is there everywhere. Consciousness, Sat, Chit, Ananda is there everywhere, all the way. When that consciousness and this inert object comes together, nothing happens. But whereas this body, mind, intellect, and the consciousness come together, then ahankara comes up. Because the mind has got that reflective capacity. It reflects the consciousness. And then comes in between that ahankara. And that ahankara actually assumes that I own everything. Deho na janati. Body does not know it's inert. Sato na janma. The sat existence. It doesn't have any birth or death. It is always there, eternal. Deho na janati, sato na janma. When they come together, deho na janati, sato na janma, udeti madhye. That is ahankara. That's the way actually, get the collective Atmavada as a darshanam. So this ahankara, this name, we have just go to one slide, which is just, look at this. That image, what is actually reflected there, assumes ownership and then starts dancing. Oh, I am fat. Why am I looking so bad? And all those afflictions come in. So this Agankara goes through this ups and downs. That is one disaster association, affliction. Whereas, go to the first line, my consciousness, aham, is priyan. It is the dearest. We saw that actually, I am the dearest. The self is the dearest. Oh, everything actually we do for the self to get to that bliss. So that is not affected by any of these sorrows. It is always bliss. Sakshi, Chaitanyam is always bliss. Whereas the Ahankara is full of affliction. That's the last comparison. There are three things what he has mentioned about Ahankara, which we'll have to see one by one. I'm going from the last one to the first one. So affliction we saw. Affliction, Ahankara is all, we all know. We all go through every day ups and downs, right? As individual. But Sakshi does not. Chaitanya does not. Then limitations. We are limited, of course. The Ahankara, as Ahankara, as you, I can do only one thing, or something only. I can't do. I'm just limited by this body, mind, intellect, and my capacity through this body, mind, intellect, etc. I'm limited. But whereas Chaitanya, consciousness, is all pervading. It's infinite. We saw that in the previous sloka. That's the second, the middle one. Sarva Anvitaha. It's all pervading. And first one we know. We all go through all kinds of modifications. put your name again. As a child, as a young child, how you were, and young man or woman, how you were, and now at warrior and so on, and all kinds of modification, not only physically, but mentally also, all modifications we go through. But whereas Sakshi is no modification. It is there, unmodified, undisturbed. So that logic he uses, Sakshi is not subject to modification. It doesn't have any limitation. It doesn't have any affliction. Whereas Ahankara has got all those. And hence, Ahankara cannot be self. Okay. The next sloka also builds upon this, but uh, it's a very beautiful description, I thought. So this is the sloka what our Guruji says. Okay, now what should I do with all this? No, you have taught me so much. What should I do? I just brought in here, of course, Advaita Makaranda does not talk about this, but I thought, this question we should have. And what is the use of knowing all these things? We should be able to apply it also. And that's what Guruji says. You negate, use them very thoughtfully. Tesham atmatva matram. Atmatva matram. That is, oh, you don't attach the selfhood for this individuality. Know that is not your true self. Even this ahankara is not your true self. Leave alone the body, mind, intellect. Even the ahankara also is not your true self. Your true self is Sachidananda. Know that, and then, of course, acknowledge its existence. You have this instrument, you have it with you. Use that. Yojaniyascha tasmate vyavahare vivekataha. Use it thoughtfully. Yojaniyascha tasmate, therefore, vyavahare. In the transactional world, use it with discrimination. That's the take away from this. I thought I'll tie it up with our Guruji's sloka as why we are studying all these things and what's the use of this logic and so on. Okay. So I'll come to that later. So let's. Oh yeah, this is very. In this example, because this example also got any example has got limitation. Okay? But we'll have to just understand from. So here, the reflected image depends upon the reflecting medium. Consciousness is there, and it is reflecting in this media like this, in your media like that, and respective medium. And depending upon your media, you will feel fat or tall or, whatever, ups and downs and all these things. And depending upon my media, I'll feel something else, right? But if that reflecting media is falsified, use that as an instrument. If you falsify it, then you're using it as an instrument only. Then we know our true self. I couldn't get the same lady in both the, but you understand the logic. Okay, so we'll chant this and then stop then. Together. Sakshi sarvanvita preya aham naham kadachana parinama paricheda paritapairupaplavat. I am the witness, all pervading and dear, and never the ego, Agankara, which has the disastrous association with modifications, limitations, and afflictions. That takes us to the topic. When Shruti is Pramana, why do we need Puranas? Many have responded, and some more have actually also started responding after I saw Ram and Rani after I compiled this slide, and also Sham, and I don't know, there's somebody else has responded. So appreciate that. I thought actually this topic may be slightly out of the context with respect to what we are studying, but it proved to be very interesting topic because a lot of you have responded. And I just to highlight, I just took the first one and the last one and the middle one, and just started quoting some key words or key sentences, sentence from each one of them. And Shiva Vishnu has said, at those days itself, it's a very interesting idea. Those days itself, our rishis have thought that we have to cater to the fellow human beings of the next yugas. That's a very good idea. They were able to forecast that how in Dwapara and Kali Yuga, how the human beings will be there. And this Shruti by itself, it will not go into their head. And hence, let's, have Puranas, Itihasas. It's a very nice idea. Ashish said, Shruti, of course, leading us to self-knowledge, and Puranas lead us ultimately to be one with God. We were studying in chapter 7 also how the journey takes place from Aparaprakriti and realizing that there is Paraprakriti also, and the journey towards that. Then Jayantibai said, given various examples, and Shruti says this, and look at Ramayana, what it says. Shruti says this, look at Ramayana. So easily able to understand coming from Ramayana what Shruti says. So that's the logic what he has used. And several examples, Swami Ramakrishna's example is very nice, Whenever we, for example, our lunch, supposing we have sambar sadham, right? We enjoy the taste of the sambar. We very rarely think that there is rice behind it. What a nice example, Then, of course, Lakshmi Vadala said about baby kids also, how we are, these Puranas are able to help the baby kids to get the concept. And then, of course, when they come up, grow and all that, the Upanishads and so on will be a lot of quotations from Upanishads, Ramayana, Bhagavad Gita. And then, of course, the left, right brain also came into the picture. I think Ram mentioned that. And that is also a nice idea. So I never thought actually this topic will trigger so much of discussion. That's good. For next topic, I'll post this. uh, by declaring oneself as Aham Brahman, I am Brahman, is there not a possibility of feeding the Ahankara? I am Brahman. Hey, I am Brahman. Okay. So that's why the second part of the question comes in. Why not use Sarvam Brahma, everything Brahman? Why not use that one, then Aham Brahmasmi? Since Sarvam Brahma will cover everything, including Aham Brahmas. So why not we use Sarvam Brahma? Why use Aham Brahmasmi? So that's why it's two parts question. So please reflect on it. So I'll start the meditation with Anandi chanting from sloka 11 to 6.